Dr. Yusuf Noor received his early education in Mogadishu public schools, Bongere Elementary School, Central Middle School, and 15 May High School. After finishing high school, he received a military scholarship to study electrical engineering at Odessa Military Technical College, Odessa, Ukraine. His studies were, however, interrupted when relations between the Soviet Union and Somalia soared. He returned to Somalia but got another scholarship to resume his studies at the Military Technical College, Cairo, Egypt, where he graduated with a bachelor's in electrical engineering. Dr. Yusuf Noor served in the Somali military for 11 years, 4 of them as the Surface-to-Air Missile SAM Guidance System Engineer. He resigned his military commission at the rank of captain after fulfilling his commitment to the Somali military. Dr. Noor moved to the United States and earned a Master's of Business Administration from California State University, Fresno. After working for 4 years, he decided to go back to school. He got accepted into a PhD program of the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana, where he graduated with a PhD in strategic management. Dr. Noor currently teaches strategic management and international relations business at Business School, Indiana University, Kokomo, Indiana. When he's not teaching, he spends his time reading, writing, bike riding, swimming, hiking, and camping, and he's here today to give us one hell of a topic, and please welcome him on stage.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And I will be mixing it up because I remember when Hassan was giving his talk, there were a lot of people who were, who reminded him that he should pick Somali too. So I will be, hopefully, unfortunately, many people do not understand Somali, English, so I'll be speaking some Somali too. Let me start with this. My friend and colleague, Hodan, mentioned a verse in the Quran, and I want to remind you that verse again and emphasize it. There's a verse in the Quran that says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. This is about the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, that Allah has sent him solely to be merciful. It was for the purpose of showing mercy to mankind, mercy to mankind. So if you see anybody who claims to be Muslim, who claims to be following the example of the Prophet, but they don't show any mercy, they are liars. They don't represent Islam, and there's no way that they're going to bring about peace to the country. Now, my speech, I was given only 15 minutes, unfortunately, and my speech is mostly going to be targeted towards the sisters here and the youth, because they are the future of the country, and I want them, and I would like to live with them a message of if they understand their religion, if they understand the Quran, believe me, we will be halfway to solving our problems. Because the people who are abusing women under the banner of Islam or claiming to be Muslim, they themselves don't understand Islam. So it's you who should understand Islam and correct them when they make those kind of mistakes. Let me start with a verse in the Quran again. First, let me try to mediate between Hassan and Hodan. They seem to be, and this is, by the way, this is very common among professors, where they seem to be at each other's throats, but they're actually basically saying the same thing. So they're not really, so you can reconcile the two differences. So the blame game. But let me quote another verse about the blame game. Some of you who know the Quran would know this. The Quran extensively quotes shaitan. You all know shaitan. Shaitan, Satan. It quotes Satan. And when it quotes Satan, it confirms what he says. So at the end of the day, in the hereafter, we're told that shaitan will say this. He would say, one of the things that he would say, فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخِكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتُمْ بِمُصْرِخِيَّ إِنِّي كَفَرْتُ بِمَا أَشْرَكْتُمُونِ مِنْ قَبْلِ. That's what he says. And Allah confirms that. He says, do not blame me. Blame yourselves. He said, I was created to do what I did what I was supposed to do. So don't blame me. Blame yourselves. This exactly applies to us. I'm trying to reconcile the two differences. Do not blame anybody. Let's blame ourselves. Another verse. This is kind of a test for the youngsters here, the students, and that's why I'm going to say it in Arabic and then in English in the Quran. And hopefully you will look it up. It says, قالت يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة أمرا حتى تشهدون. قالت يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة حتى تشهدون. The Quran also quotes a number of women and confirms what they said. And these women are not Muslim women. One of them is the Queen of Sheba. Everybody knows the Queen of Sheba? Yeah. Okay. The Queen of Sheba, the Quran quotes her. And she says in this verse, and Allah supports what she's saying. He's confirming what she's saying. And I bet most people do not know this. And so I want the sisters here, my sisters here who are here, to understand that and to quote that to everybody. It says, قالت يا أيها الملأ أفتوني في أمري ما كنت قاطعة حتى تشهدون. She's speaking to her counselors. And it's a really beautiful exchange between Sulaiman on the one hand and the Queen of Sheba. And she says to them, I do not decide, I don't make any decision unless you are there with me. She says to their counselors. And believe it or not, this is one of the most important verses in the Quran where the Muslims use to support the idea of consultation in decision making. And who said it? The Queen of Sheba. The Quran confirming it. Now, another famous quote of hers, and again, maybe it's quoted, but they usually, when you hear that verse, I don't think anybody would tell you who said it. And it's recited in the Quran, like a verse in the Quran, but it's again Queen of Sheba speaking. She says, إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا أعزة أهلها أذلة وكذلك يفعلون. That's what she says. This verse is the motto that the Iranian Revolution used to unseat the Shah of Iran. They used that verse. And what she's saying is that when kings enter a town or a village, they corrupt it. And they bring down the best people among the inhabitants of the town or the inhabitants of the area down to the lowest levels. Another quote from the Queen of Sheba. Now, did you ever hear anybody, any of these people, did you ever hear them telling you that there are verses in the Quran that we recite, confirmed by the Quran, we recite them as the word of God, the sayings of Allah, but they are actually quotes from people like the Queen of Sheba. And she's not the only one. There are a number of those in the Quran. Now, the other verse that's used to confirm this idea of consulting with one another is وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ, that their affairs are decided through consultation. We're supposed to decide our affairs